The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
This week's Parshat is Tavo. Tavo el Aretz. It's in Devarim 26. You have the Chamoshim. It's important to look in if you want to look. It's Devarim 26:1. Devarim 26:1. V'hoyi Tavo el Aretz. When you come to the land of Israel and you live there, you shall do the mitzvah of bikkurim. L'kachta mereish is called Pri Adama. Devarim 26:1 and 2. So the Medrash Rabbi makes a strange comment about this mitzvah of bikkurim. It says, "L'kachta mereish is called Pri Adama." When you come to the land of Israel, you shall take from the Bereshit means the beginning. Mereshit called Pri Adama, from the beginning of all the fruits, not all, from the 7 species, and bring it to the Beis Hamikdash as an offering of bikkurim. So the Medrash Rabbi says, where's that word Bereshit found again? Genesis 1:1, Bereshit bara Elokim. So the Medrash Rabbi makes a Gzeira Shava that the whole Briat HaOlam, Bereshit bara Elohim, only because of the mitzvah Bereshit called Pri Adama. God created the world, Bereshit, just in order, in the schus of what? Of Bereshit called Pri Adama, that you should bring the first fruits to Eretz, to the Beis Hamikdash. Why is bikkurim such an important mitzvah that Bereshit bara Elohim was only because of Bereshit called Pri Adama? There are 612 other mitzvot. What makes bikkurim so unique that the whole Bria, the big inning, the creation, was only because of Bereshit called Pri Adama? You see that word? What's so special about what? Bikkurim, that it's so chashuv more than the rest of the mitzvahs of the Torah? The answer is Hakarat HaTov. Hakarat HaTov. What does that mean?
Appreciation.
Expressing gratitude and appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we live in Eretz Yisrael. We don't live in Shmutz Loretz, and we're able, thank you, and we're able to what? Do the mitzvah of what? Of bikkurim. So the whole universe was created only for the mitzvah of Hakarat HaTov. Isn't that amazing? Yes. Expressing gratitude and appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, the word Bereshit is Bereshit. So the farmer brings his fruits to Eretz Yisrael, to the Beis Hamikdash, and he makes a statement, and then it goes on, V'samachta b'chal hatov, verse 11, V'samachta b'chal hatov, you shall rejoice with all the good that Hashem your God gives you. Devarim 26:11, yes.
The first fruits, is the first fruit for the season? Or
the first fruit that ripens of the 7 species, not apples and not oranges.
But it's not the orla, like the first time?
No, the first 3 years of a fruit tree, you can't do anything with it. This is after the 3rd and the 4th year, after the orla, it's seasonal. Every year during the Chag HaBikurim, Shavuos, you're supposed to bring the first fruits of the 7 species to Eretz Yisrael. Wheat, barley, grapes, pomegranates, figs, dates, and what? Olives. Not apples and oranges. Okay? Just those 7. Some of those 7 are unique and are special more than other fruits. Because the Torah uses those 7 to praise Eretz Yisrael. And then in verse 11 it says, V'samachta b'chal hatov. You shall rejoice with all the good that Hashem does you. What does that mean? There's a pasuk in Mishlei 18. Matzah isha, matzah tov. Wow. So how do you rejoice with all the good? Matzah isha, matzah tov, says King Solomon in Mishlei 18. When you find a good woman, that's when you find what? Tov, and that's when you can be happy. But if you're not married, then it's difficult. Right? Amazing pasuk over here. The secret to being happy in verse 11, 26:11, the secret to being happy is focus on what you have. V'samachta b'chal hatov. Don't look at what the other guy has, but appreciate what you have. People are miserable because they can't appreciate what they have because they always look what the other guy, right? The grass is always greener. But the Torah says, V'samachta b'chal hatov. Appreciate all the goodness that Hashem gives you. Wow. And what's the V'samachta b'chal hatov? The farmer makes this speech that every minute you live in Israel, you have your mitzvah. What could be better than that? bikurim can only be done where? In Israel. And there's an amazing Rashi, an amazing, profound Rashi in this week's Parsha. Devarim 26 is important to look in. Devarim 26:13. Devarim 26:13. The farmer, when he gives his meiser, his tithing, he makes a speech. He says, I gave my tithes to the Levi, the Ger, the Yosam, 26:13, right? I have not transgressed your mitzvot, and I didn't forget. So Rashi wonders, it seems to be redundant. If the farmer says, I did my mitzvot, I gave my truma, my meiser, my tithes, I didn't transgress your mitzvahs, God, well, obviously I didn't transgress, and obviously what? I didn't forget. It seems to be redundant. If you're not using the book, please give it to somebody who can use it, because it's important to look in. So Rashi wonders about that. And more important, what's the message for us in the year 2019? So Rashi says, I did not transgress your mitzvahs, and I didn't forget to make a bracha when I separate my meiser. When you separate your meiser, your agricultural crops, for poor people and for the Levi, you have to make a bracha. So I didn't forget to do the mitzvah, and I didn't transgress the mitzvah. I did give the tithes, and oh, by the way, I didn't forget to what? Make a bracha. Very difficult Rashi, Sarah, because making a bracha is only the Rabbanan. The only Torah bracha is what? Benching. Bench, Birchat HaMazon and Birchat HaTorah. But all the other mitzvahs are rabbinic. So how could Rashi say there's an extra word in the Torah? I didn't forget to make a bracha when I gave my tithes. It's true, you make a bracha when you give your tithes, but making brachas is only what? We're only rabbinic. Where's Rashi coming from? How could Rashi imply the extra words? I didn't forget to make a bracha when I gave my tithes. What is Rashi talking about? So Sifsei Chachama makes an amazing, what Rashi means is, where can you give your tithes? Agricultural tithes is given where? In Borough Park?
Israel.
Only at Israel. What Rashi means, I didn't forget to praise God for giving me the opportunity to live in Israel and to do what? The mitzvah meiser, which you can't do in Staten Island. So Rashi is saying, V'lo shachachti, don't forget to praise God every day that you live in Ashkelon. I mean Pisgat Zev. I mean remote. It's a Rashi in Chumash. Dr. Abrams said Rashi in Chumash. Don't forget to praise and thank God every day that you have the schus to live in Eretz Yisrael. Otherwise the Torah wouldn't add 2 extra words. Don't forget. When Rashi says bracha, says Sifsei Chachama, he means to, not in the sense that we understand bracha. He means bracha what? To bless and praise God for the schus of living in Eretz Yisrael. What an amazing Sifsei Chachamim. Because giving meiser you can only do where? In Eretz Yisrael. You can't do in the Chutz La'aretz. So don't forget to thank God every day that you're living in a country where you can do what? Meiser. Devarim 26:13. When he gives his meiser, his tithe to the poor people, the Levi, he has to make a declaration. I did not, how do they translate in English, 26:13, the end of the verse?
I have not transgressed any of your commandments.
I have not transgressed.
I have not forgotten.
I have not transgressed any of your commandment. Wow, I'm such a nice guy. Gee, I'm patting myself on the back. Gee whiz. What's the Torah talking about? I'm an okay guy. I didn't transgress any of your mitzvahs, God. What's the message over here? So Rabbi Yonah says something incredible. This Parsha is always read right before the Yom Hadin. And Rabbi Yonah makes an incredible statement. The person who wrote the book on tshuva, Shari Tshuva, says, the key to doing tshuva is not to beat up on yourself. The Yetzer Hara tells you, you're going to do tshuva, you're such a lowlife, forget about it. You're too far gone anyway. You might as well stay a lowlife. You fall into despair and Yush. That's the Yetzer Hara's plot. Don't fall for it. Says Rabbi Yonah, a person should say, I didn't transgress your mitzvahs, God. I'm an okay guy and I'll try to be better next year. Because if you think you're not okay, said Rabbi Yonah, then why do anything? The Yetzer Hara tries to convince us that we're too far gone. If you keep beating up on yourself, then it doesn't matter what I do anyway. No, make this statement right before the Yom Adin, no kawinky dinky, that we read this Parshat right before the Yom Adin. I didn't transgress your mitzvahs, God. I gave Meiser, I gave Tzedakah. I'm not as bad as the Yetzer Hara tries to convince me that I am. Look at this incredible verse. That's Rabbi Yonah, the key to tshuva. Isn't that amazing? Right before the Yom Adin, I'm okay, and next year I'll try to be better. But if I'm no good, if I'm a big zero, then give up, throw in the towel. That's Satan's trap. Don't fall for it. And the Baal Shem Tov picks up on this. We say something in the Shmon Esrei on Rosh Hashanah, Ki zoicher kol hanishkochot. You, God, you forget, you remember. Thank you, sir. Good game today. Ki zoicher kol hanishkochot. You, God, remember all of the forgotten deeds. Now, what does that mean? You ask anybody, what does it mean? God remembers all of our forgotten sins, right? That's what Baal Shem Tov says. No. You, God, remember all of our forgotten mitzvot. You do a mitzvah throughout, you do an act of chesed. You think it's not important, you forgot about it. On the Yom Hadin, God remembers you did that chesed, which you think was not important. In my eyes, it's important. You hear what the Baal Shem Tov is picking up on this theme. That's why in Shmon Esrei we say in Rosh Hashanah, you remember, God, all of the mitzvahs that I did and I forgot. I smiled on somebody. I gave somebody a nice hello. I did a small act of chesed. I forgot about it. But on the Yom Adin, he remembers, Rabbeinish. He remembers. You forgot. You think it's not important. But God remembers it. So we have so many mitzvahs that he gives us back on the Yom Adin.
Who said that?
Rabbi Shem Tov. Look at your Machzor Rosh Hashanah. God remembers all of the forgotten deeds. So Pashup Shat, it means he remembers all of our forgotten sins. But the Baal Shem Tov, he always puts a positive spin on everything. He forgets all of our forgotten mitzvot. What a vort! What a vort!
That's why it's the Baal Shem Tov.
On the Yom Adin. And yesterday was his birthday. Da 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 da. Today's your birthday. No kawinky dinky. Baal Shem Tov's birthday.
Yeah.
He's happy
Today
now.
is
He's
his
smiling.
Probably 18.
The Holy Baal Shem Tov.
birthday.
His birthday yesterday. But where was I? Ki zoicher kol hanishkochot. Wow. Guy's having a bad hair day and you smile on him. So you think you didn't do anything. Right? But when he gets home, you'll be in a better mood. Maybe you won't yell at his wife and his kids.
Good thing.
You don't know what you did. You said a kind word to him. So we dismiss it, forget about it. But on the Yom Adin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembers that, and it puts it on the scale of what? Mitzvah. So I make a statement, I didn't transgress your mitzvahs, God. I'm not going to fall for Satan's wiles. You're no good, you're no good, you're no good. We are good. And we'll be better. What a message for the Yom Adin. And that's the message of bikkurim, this week's Parshat. That's pretty amazing, huh? So the farmer makes this statement. And the Talmud calls it vidui meiser. When he gives his tithes to the poor and the Levi, he's supposed to make the statement, I didn't transgress your mitzvahs, I did exactly what you told me. And the Talmud calls it vidui meiser, which is strange. What does vidui mean? Confession. But here he's doing the right thing. So what's he confessing? It's a strange word to use, vidui. Vidui implies I did something wrong, so I'm vidui. But here he's being a good boy. I didn't transgress your mitzvahs. I gave my tithes to the poor and the Levite. So why is the Talmud called this pasuk that the farmer says vidui? Says the great Rav Soloveitchik. This parsha is always read right before the high holy days. He says as follows. If what the Talmud means If you want your vidui on Yom Kippur to be accepted, be a Maisa person. Be a Chesed person. You want to guarantee that your tshuva on Yom Kippur, what's the main theme of Yom Kippur? Vidui. Tshuva is vidui. If you want 100% guarantee that your vidui, which is coming up before you know it, will be what? Accepted? Be a Maisa person. You hear the great Rav Soloveitchik? It takes a genius like him. Otherwise it's a paradox. Golda, what is... I'm doing the right thing. I'm giving tzedakah, I'm giving Meiser, and why am I confessing? The great Soloveitchik says the other way, yeah. If you want your confessional sins to be wiped out, and Hashem should accept your tshuva 100%, then be a Meiser person. If you're a Chesed person, a giving person, then you're guaranteed that your vidui on Yom Kippur, i.e. your tshuva, is what?
Accepted.
100%. What's the guarantee? Be a Meiser person. A Meiser means a tithing person. Like you are. A tithing person. Doesn't just mean money. You can tithe a smile, a kind word, helping hand. Doesn't mean many. You're tithing, you're a giving person. If you're a giving Meiser person, your vidui was what? It's in the bag. Isn't that amazing, Daniel? Isn't that amazing?
Definitely.
Wow. Wow. We got a maid in the shade. Wow. The Parshat goes on. The Parshat goes on and keeps repeating that Israel is a land flowing with milk and honey over and over again. I'm a text man. Let's do some text analysis. Devarim 26:9. God gave us a land flowing with milk and honey. But you're not finished yet. If you go to Devarim what? 26:14. Again, the end of the verse is the land flowing with milk and honey. Why not mangoes? What's wrong with the Jaffa oranges? Why does the Torah keep repeating? And you're not finished yet. Oh, look at the Devarim 27:3. Again, the land of milk and honey is repeated how many times? 3 times. Devarim 26:9, a land flowing with milk and honey. Devarim 26:15. I have it 15 or 14. Milk and honey, right? That's twice, right, Sarah? Look at Devarim 27:3. Devarim 27:3, the end of the verse.
Going with milk and honey.
How many times? Going once?
3.
Going twice? Why does the Torah keep repeating not oranges and grapefruits? Why dafke milk and honey and keep repeating it? Why? So the answer is as follows. Oranges and mangoes and avocados, you might have more in California. Possible. But if you Google milk and honey, the Israeli cow gives more milk per cow than any cow, not just in New Jersey, but on planet Earth. And the Israeli date palm tree gives more date honey per tree than any tree on planet Earth. Rabbi Google. So how did God know this? So it's amazing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu only praises Israel that makes Israel unique. Because mangoes and oranges, maybe you have more in California. But milk and honey, the Israeli cow, more milk per cow than any cow in the world. The Israeli date palm tree, more date honey per tree than any tree in the world. Isn't that amazing how the Torah knew 3,330 years ago what Google knows now? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You know, a cow goes moo, but an Israeli cow goes no. That's pretty amazing, don't you think? Wow. Now, pretty amazing. Now, what you're about to hear, a chiddush from Chiddush Land. In this week's Parshat, when the Jews come to the land of Israel, they have to climb up 2 mountains. Devarim 27, verse 11. When you come to the land of Israel, 6 tribes have to climb 1 mountain, and 6 tribes have to climb another mountain. And the ark and the Levites are where? In the valley below, and they pronounce the blessings and the curses. Rashi says that this was a second Kabbalah Torah. See, we thought we only got the Torah what? Once. But Rashi in Devarim 27:11 says that this ceremony of climbing Har Gerizim and Har Eval and writing the Torah on giant boulders, the whole Torah, this was a new Kabbalah Satorah. Play it again, Sam. Chava, once is not enough. The question is why once is not enough. Okay? Why was the ceremony necessary? And the first time it was only one mountain. Here it's what? Two. And the first time, were we allowed to climb the mountain? No. Stay down. Down, boy. Here they're commanded to climb the mountain. And the first time, Raphael, we looked up. Here they're looking down because the Ark of the Covenant is down. What is the message over here? And it gets better. The first time, we only said Nasav and Ishma, only 2 words. Here we keep repeating Amen over and over again. Not chick-chack Nasav and Ishma. Over here, Avram, Amen, 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 over and over again. What is the message over here? Why a second Kabbalah Satorah? So the Maral MiPrague says something incredible. He says, just like a human being is made up of a body and a soul. A body without a soul, is that a human being? Soul without a body? You ain't got no body. He says a nation as well has a collective soul and a collective body. Just like a mensch has a soul and a body, a nation has a collective soul and a body. At Har Sinai, the Jewish people received their collective neshama. But for 40 years, before we got to Pisgat Zev, Kiryat Moshe, Ashkelon, we were like a disembodied soul. And therefore, the Pasuk says something strange. The Pasuk says something strange in this week's Parshat. Devarim 29:3, Sarah. A strange Pasuk. Devarim 29:3. It's all going to come together. Devarim 29:3. What does it say there? Anybody?
It says, but Hashem did not give you a heart to know, or eyes to see, or ears to hear until this day.
What does that mean? For 40 years, I ain't got nobody. What is the Torah talking about? Says the Maral, don't you see that for 40 years, the nation of Israel, they only had a collective neshama. But they didn't get their body until they come to Eretz Yisrael. Wow. So the nation of Israel, the neshama, we got a collective neshama at Matan Torah. But a neshama without a guf is not a mensch. When did we receive our collective guf? When we came to Ashkelon. When we came to Pisgat Zev. What does this pasuk make sense? Amen. Now you're coming to Israel. Now you'll get a collective eyes, ears, and a heart. So therefore, it was necessary to have another Kabbalah Satorah. The first time was for the neshama, and the second time was for what? For the guf. Otherwise, what is pasuk is saying over here? God didn't give you eyes, ears, and a body until today. Because now you're coming to Israel, now you're going to get your collective guf. So therefore, a second Kabbalah Satorah was what? Necessary. So the question is, why, but the first Kabbalah Satorah, we looked up to heaven. The second Kabbalah Satorah, when we were already in Israel, and Har Gerizim, Har Eval, where are we looking? Down to the ark. Because the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael has the Kedusha of heaven. You hear what I just said?
Yeah.
See the symbolism? They're on top of the 2 mountains in Eretz Yisrael. In Shmutzlaretz, in Har Sinai, they were Shmutzlaretz. Right? So they looked up to heaven. But when they're in Eretz Yisrael, on top of the mountain, Har Eval and Gerizim, that's Eretz Yisrael, they're looking down to the ark, not up.
Wow.
Symbolizing that the land of Israel has the same Kedusha as what? As heaven. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Amen.
Think about that. Think about that. Heaven on earth. Who said that, Dr. Abramson? I just did. Heaven on earth. But look at the psukim. If you just analyze the psukim over here. And the first time, we were passive. We only said Nasav and Ishma after the whole story. Here, after every pasuk, we say Amen, Amen, Amen. Because in Eretz Yisrael, we're God's partner. Here, we're God's partner. So after every statement, we said Amen. Take a look. Devarim 27, right? Beginning with verse 11. That's pretty incredible, don't you think?
It's beautiful.
So the people were on top of the two mountains, 6 tribes on Grizim and 6 tribes on Abel, and the Ark of the Covenant and the priests were down. And instead of looking up like 40 years ago, they're looking where? Down. Symbolizing that the land of Israel has the Kedusha of heaven. That's pretty amazing, huh?
Beautiful.
So here you have a mitzvah, V'alachta b'drachav. The Torah goes on. Rashi says clearly, in Devarim 28, that there was a new Kabbalah Sotorah here. When you went to Har Gerizim and Har Evel, I don't know why there's not a Yontif, another day off, right? But Rashi says clearly in Devarim 28, 26, that at Har Evel, Har Gerizim, there was a Kabbalah Sotorah played against them. Rashi says another Kabbalah Sotorah and the morale, so how come, Rab Nachum, we don't know when it is? I could use another day off. I have another Yontif. We don't even know when it is. Second Kabbalah Torah. Another day to eat cheesecake. Dr. Abramson, another day to eat cheesecake.
Don't worry, you'll get it.
Chag Matan Torah too. I'm not joking. Yehuda, I don't know an answer.
Don't worry, you'll get another election.
No, seriously.
Another day off.
Why is there no celebration? Maybe because we had to wait 40 years. God wanted us chick-chack 3 days. 3-day journey. Maybe that's why, I think. Why'd you guys have to wait 40 years to come to Ashkelon? I wanted, look at Parshat Baloischa, God said, I wanted you in 3 days. Maybe that's why. Devarim 28, 9. Sarah, you want to read that? God made you a holy people. You shall observe his mitzvot. See that? Not enough. You want to read that, please? Devarim 28, 9.
Hashem will confirm you for himself as a holy people, as he swore to you.
Go ahead.
If you observe the commandments of Hashem,
Go ahead.
God, and you go in his way.
Now, isn't that redundant? If you observe the mitzvahs, isn't that walk this way? Who said that? You hear the question on the table? There are no extra words in the Torah. There's exactly 304,005 letters in the Torah. Chav, you don't believe me, you can count. So if it says you observe the mitzvahs of God, why do you have to say V'alachta b'drachav for? Isn't observing mitzvahs walking in his ways? No?
That's how you see it.
A person can do mitzvot, but he can be a meanie about it. Right? You have a sourpuss. I do all the mitzvahs, 100%,
And I hate everything.
with a sourpuss. It's not enough to do mitzvahs. V'alachta b'drachav. With a shmeichel, with enthusiasm. Walk in God's way. Smile, you're on candid camera. After 120, roll that tape. I did that. I made such a sourpuss face.
Hashem does everything for our good. so-
Smile, you're on candid camera.
You do
Not enough to observe the mitzvahs. You got to walk in Hashem's ways. And how do we know God smiles on us? Every morning in Birchot Kohanim. You are Hashem Ponav Alecha. The Kohanim bless us. May God shine his face on you. Says Rashi, Yara Lecha Panim Sachakot. God shows you a smiley, happy face. The Kohanim bless us every morning. Put on a happy face. So when you smile on a fellow Jew, you're walking in God's ways. V'alachta b'drachav. He puts on panim sachakot. What does that mean? Smiley, happy face. So every time we do that to a fellow human being, we're walking in Hashem's ways. There's so many mitzvahs there. It doesn't cost any money. There should be a gemach for smiles. It doesn't cost any money. Every time you shmeichel, my Rebbe said, "V'lachta b'drachav," you're walking in Hashem's ways. So we forget, but on the Yom Adin, he remembers who you smiled and who you frowned. Ay, ay, ay. Pretty amazing, what? The Torah lists these terrible curses, and why will it come? Strange verse. Devarim 28:47. Why will God strike us with madness and confusion and spiritual blindness?
Yes,
Why?
I guess.
Why? He doesn't understand, Baal Shem Tov says. It would have said, you didn't serve Hashem your God, I can understand why you get whacked. It doesn't say you didn't serve him. It says only you didn't serve him what? With joy. So what's the bad thing? I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Says the Baal Shem Tov, you got to know where to put the commas. You don't want to eat your grandpa.
No.
Remember, let's eat grandpa? You remember?
No, I don't.
I had a grandpa that lived with us, so we lived on the ground floor. So one day I knocked on his door, had a knife and fork in my hand, and I said, let's eat grandpa. He jumped out the window. Good thing it was the ground floor. I tried again. I knocked, and I said, let's eat, grandpa. Now you're talking, Sonny. What's for dinner? Spaghetti and meatballs. So if you don't know where to put your commas, you'll eat your grandpa. So says the Holy Baal Shem Tov, take a look at this verse, the way he punctuated. Because you didn't serve Hashem your God, that's bad. But worse, besimcha, you were happy about not serving him.
Right.
If you didn't serve Hashem your God, that's not so bad, because you can do tshuva. You know, the flesh is willing, but the spirit is weak, or is it the other way around? The spirit is willing, and I'm testing you.
And the flesh is
Right? You didn't serve Hashem your God is not so gefährlich, because, you know, you feel bad about it, you'll do tshuva. But worse than the sin, said the Hashem Tov, you didn't serve Hashem your God, comma. But worse, besimcha, you were happy about it. You flaunted your sin. You marched in the pride. That's much worse than the sin, because you'll never do tshuva. At least if you're in the closet, there's hope for you.
Yes.
Shame.
Stay in the closet.
But if you're happy about your perversion, lo yaleinu, there's no hope for
Stay in
you.
the closet.
So never, the punishment comes not for the sin. Everybody sins. But you revel in your sin. What about Shem Tov? Besimcha, you're happy about not serving him. And God says that, forget about it. Because if you do that, there's no hope for you. As long as you're ashamed, there's hope. You'll do tshuva. But if you revel and you're proud of your sin, then you're a goner. Yes?
Maybe you know the answers, because I remember a long time ago, so Malchus gave a shir. The Rambam says if you give a tzedakah with a sour face, you're not giving credit for it. But I think there's somebody who
It's not true.
disagrees.
You're not getting credit. You are getting credit.
You are
The Gemara Basra tells us, if you give tzedakah with a sour face, you get 6 brachas. You get tzedakah with a happy face, you get 11 brachas.
So you get something. You get
So therefore, we're not serving God. But you're not serving him, and you're happy about not serving him. That makes it much worse. And I remember 2011, 9/11. You couldn't make this up. You can Google it. Which Parsha did we read in 9/11? This Parsha, Devarim 28, verse 52.
It was Rosh Hashanah.
I remember it was 9/11/01, and this is the Parsha that we read, and this pasuk jumped out at me.
Yes.
It jumped out at me, Chanoch. It's too bad you don't have a good book. Devarim 28:52. Anybody? Please read slowly.
It will besiege you in all your cities until the collapse of your high and fortified walls.
Until collapse of your high and mighty towers, it says in Hebrew. The collapse of your mighty towers. Kawiki Dinky, this parsha was read on the week of 9/11. How did God know that? Oh, gee, I don't know. That's just amazing. Pretty interesting. Shabbos of 9/11. Wow. Anyway, very amazing verse. You look at the Haftorah, current events in Haftorah. I didn't forget. No, I didn't forget. Isaiah 60. It's found in the blue book in the back. It's Isaiah 60.
Page 1201.
1201. First pasuk there. Rise and shine, because your light has come. Hear what God says? Rise and shine, because your light has come. Now, if you look at pasuk 4, you have to pinch yourself. How did Isaiah know 28 years ago? Look at pasuk 4. Anybody want to read pasuk 4? Rabbi Abraham, please, can you read it to us?
Lift your eyes about you and see, all of them assemble. They come to you, your sons from afar shall come, and your daughters shall be nurtured alongside royalty.
What's been happening? Open up your eyes. I'm coming home, I'm coming home.
Aliyah.
Aliyah. Look what he's saying. Open up your eyes. You got to open your eyes. The gula's happening, but we're fashlufen. You got to open your eyes and see it. Huh? What's he saying over here? Now look at verse 3. This is just amazing. I'll back up one verse. Verse 3.
Nations will go by your light, and kings by the brightness of your shine.
Nations will go by your light. We are the super startup nation. We show them the ways through ways.
What?
Don't we show them the ways through ways? How did Isaiah know about ways 2,800 years ago? Go there. Look, he says it. The goy will go by your light. The goy asks us to enlighten them. How do you get water from the air? The Jordanians want to know. How do you get water from the air? So they have to come to us. We get moisture from the atmosphere. The super startup nation.
It's ways, but you have to put it out.
So open your eyes and see the Gula unfolding. You hear what the prophet is saying 20 years ago? And we have the schus to be living it now. Nations will walk by your light. We enlighten them. What? High tech, low tech, you name it. We're number one in everything. Medicine, weaponry, smartphones, dumb phones. They all come to us. All come to us from all over the world. Now look at verse 18. You got to read that in Hebrew. Oh, wow. Verse 18. Anybody want to read that in Hebrew?
She does. Let her read it.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Lo yishama od Hamas ve'artzecha.
No, but stop right there. Right there. Stop right there, please. Lo yishama od Hamas ba'artzech. No longer will Hamas be heard in your land. Hamas, our peace partners. Right? No longer will Hamas. Why uses that word? Gee whiz. Well, Yishama od Hamas ba'artzech. When Mashiach comes, we won't be bothered by Hamas anymore. We won't need the Iron Dome anymore. How did Isaiah know this? And he says the word Hamas. Then he makes a very strange statement. Very strange. Verse 21. Verse 21. Va'amech kulam tzadikim. You hear this? Billa, what's going on over here? God is speaking to Isaiah. And we know what's God's John Hancock. The Gemara tells us what's God's John Hancock. Emet. So if God's seal is truth, how could he tell Isaiah, Va'amech kulam tzadikim? Your nation, Isaiah, all of them are tzadikim. Now, I don't know about you, but I ain't no tzadik. God, what are you talking about, Dr. Abramson? Huh? So you want to hear the push-up shot or you want to hear the Kabbalistic shot?
Kabbalistic.
Both.
Yeah, let's try both.
My Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, Zeichet Tzadik Levracha, in 1986, shortly before he passed away, he interpreted this Mishnah. And I have the disc. Va'amech kulam tzadikim, he says, in 1986. Medinas Yisrael. Look what kind of neighborhood we live in, he said. Look who we are surrounded by. The nation of Israel is tzaddikim. We are an island of tranquility in a sea of savages, he said.
Wow.
B'dinas Yisrael, eze chesed that we do, even for our enemies, we go overboard. The hospitals are full of Arabs, right? And we help them, and they come to us for treatment. How would they treat us if the shoe was on the other foot? Huh? V'amech kulam tzaddikim. Huh? The nation of Israel is tzaddikim, especially when you compare us to the neighborhood we live in, compared to the savages that surround us. And the Kabbalistic interpretation, according to the Ari HaKadosh, v'amech kulam tzaddikim, you can pay me now, or you can pay me later. Every Jew is going to be a tzaddik. Because can a parent ever give up on a child?
No.
It's just impossible. You can divorce a spouse, but you cannot divorce a child. And God says, B'ni b'chori Yisrael. In Exodus 4, he says that my child, my firstborn is Israel. Israel's not just my child, but he's my firstborn. Family can have 22 children, we can only have what?
Firstborn.
So says the Holy Ari, V'amech kulam tzaddikim. God says, all of you are going to be tzaddikim, no matter how many gilgulim it takes. But after all the tikkunim and the gilgulim, every Jew is going to be a tzaddik. Because a parent can never give up on a beloved child. And since God is our beloved parent, He won't let us go. No. V'amech kulam tzaddikim. After all the tikkunim and gilgulim, every Jew is going to be a tzaddik. If we don't do it on our own, God will do it for us, right? And it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be done. V'amech kulam tzaddikim. What a pasuk. Right? Now, look at the last verse. Sarah, see the last verse in the Haftorah? The small one will be multiplied 1,000. There'll be a population explosion of Jews. See that? Verse 22. And what does the end of the verse say, Abraham, there? 22.
At the end of the verse,
Yes.
it says, I am Hashem, in its time I will hasten it.
I am God, in its time I will hasten it.
That's the Beita, Hashena.
So the Talmud Sanhedrin says there's a problem here, because if it's in a time, how will I hasten it? And if I hasten it, what's in its time? So the Talmud says, if the Jews do tshuva, I will hasten the final redemption. But if God forbid we don't do tshuva, it'll come anyway, but it'll only come be'ita in its time. Come, it'll come. How and when it comes is up to us. So that's the Talmud and Sanhedrin. But the Zohar says something incredible. Fasten your seatbelts for this. Anybody that you speak to, anybody here that I speak to in America, they all say time keeps moving like fast forward.
Yes.
No question.
Well, it's Shabbos again. It's Rosh Hashanah again. It was just Pesach. Now it's Sukkot. This phenomenon is all over the world. So the Zohar 2,000 years ago said, Be'itu achishena. When God is ready to bring the final Geula, time will what?
Speed up.
Speed up.
It is.
It's moving fast forward.
So true.
And anybody you speak to says it's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
It wasn't true 50 years ago.
Right.
What's happening now? What's happening now is since the Geula is rushing to a climax, and the Isaiah predicted, when the time comes of the redemption, the final, I will speed up time. And therefore, everybody you speak to all says time keeps moving fast forward.
Yes.
It's an amazing phenomena. So fasten your seatbelts, because what? It's coming. It's coming.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
Ready or not,
Yay.
here I come. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.